ABC 6 News 11 at 11 starts right now.
Right now at 11 at 11, the mayor of Woonsocket back in office, sworn in tonight, not long after she was ousted by 3 city councilors. Her plan to stop this from ever happening again.
Plus, a gruesome discovery in a basement freezer at a home in Massachusetts. Why the 2 people that live in that house are yet to face murder charges. And where did Rhode Island and Massachusetts rank for driver safety? As you're about to see, 2 very different outcomes found in these studies. We'll get to those stories shortly, but first tonight on 11 at 11, an interview you'll only see on ABC 6. Tonight, we're hearing from students at Brown University who say they found a strange man living in the basement of their dorm for a month. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John DeLuca. And I'm Tiffany Murphy. After a brief chase on foot, that man was arrested by police. ABC 6 News reporter Daniel Coates joins us now live in Providence with more on this story. Daniel.
And Tiffany, those students that I spoke to earlier on tonight told me that over the last month or so, small items around their suite have been mysteriously going missing. Small things like shampoo bottles, iPhone chargers, even speakers. And they believe the reason why came face to face with them this past Sunday.
This man has been breaking into all of our private spaces for probably the past month.
Sophomore suite mates at Brown University say the suspect, arrested for trespassing in Wayland Hall Sunday, was inside their dorm moments before. Yantha first saw the individual walking into her friend's room as she was asleep.
I see a man going into the room of my friend. He's about halfway through the door frame, like hand on the handle, and he grabs a towel and a bottle of shampoo and kind of leaves our suite and runs down the stairs.
Later that day, Alexia had a similar scare.
I noticed he was in our lounge, just standing there. So I took a step forward to him, and the second I did that, he turned around, grabbed a bottle that was just sitting on top of our fridge, and started sprinting down the hallway. I just ended up chasing after him down the hallway, but as he started to go down the stairs, I stopped, thankfully.
Fielding a call from the earlier incident, Brown Public Safety apprehended the suspect after a brief foot chase. According to the students, police said the suspect had previous run-ins across campus, dating back to April.
They suspected that he had been living in the Wayland basement. For the past month in both suites, a lot of our personal belongings have been going missing. It started to kind of fall into place. We think that someone has been in our space taking our things from our room.
In a statement to ABC 6, Brown explained they have made campus security more visible and reminded students of safest procedures. A spokesman from Brown says the communication only went to residents in Wayland Hall, raising concerns from some of the students.
There seems to be no effort to make the student body aware that something like this could occur and that it has happened.
It's really just like Brown itself that is the one institution that has not been particularly supportive.
Brown tells me that an investigation is ongoing into how the suspect might have gotten into Wayland Hall that you can see behind me and for how long he might have been in there. So stick with ABC 6 on air and online for continued coverage of this situation at Brown University. Live in Providence, I'm Daniel Coates, ABC 6 News.
What a story. Thanks, Daniel. In other news tonight at 11, the temporary housing plan for the homeless at the Cranston Street Armory has been approved, but there is still a lot of work to be done. Plans to use the Armory were announced on November 30th. That same day, the state sent out letters looking for vendors to run the site's day-to-day operations. The Housing Department received approval from the State Properties Commission, but state officials still haven't found any vendors.
We haven't received a response yet, no.
Do you expect to receive responses?
When we issue letters of interest, yes, we expect to always receive a response, and we intend to reserve around $2 million from the State Fiscal Recovery Fund's homelessness assistance to fund operations related to this proposal.
Roughly 350 beds are supposed to be made available at the Cranston Street Armory in the coming weeks. It will operate until April 15th.
New tonight on 11 at 11, Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt sworn back into office tonight in Woonsocket, not long after she was ousted by the city council. They voted 3-2 in favor of removing her back in early October after one councilor accused the mayor of mismanaging city funds. Baldelli Hunt said at the time it was simply a personal attack, and what made the whole situation really comical from the outside, she was already on the November ballot running unopposed. She easily won, of course, over a few write-in candidates.
What took place here was un-American. It should never have happened. We live in the United States of America. We have a right to vote. What you shouldn't have is a right to strip somebody from office because 5 people have decided that that's what they would like to do.
The mayor announcing tonight the creation of a charter review committee, which will go over the city charter and implement new rules to prevent any mayor from ever being removed again without a good reason.
Now to an ABC 6 News update. One of the men involved in triggering that Amber Alert last week in Dartmouth has been nabbed again by police. Police say Jeremiah Cabral was arrested Monday for an incident that happened last month in Fall River. Cops tried to pull him over. He tried to run, and during that stop, dragged an officer several hundred feet. The officer was taken to the hospital and has since been released. Cabral is facing multiple charges, including assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. He's already been charged with assault and larceny after a fight with another man that triggered that Amber Alert last week.
A young woman who's an amputee claiming she was discriminated against at a nail salon in Cranston.
The 22-year-old said nail salon workers told her she couldn't have her rewards card punched because she only pays for one hand to be painted. ABC 6 News anchor Olivia DeRocha has that story.
Like, oh, she doesn't have 2 hands. She doesn't qualify for the $45. She doesn't meet the $45 requirement.
A 22-year-old amputee now speaking out after she said she was denied getting a reward card stamped at a Cranston nail salon because she only pays for one hand.
I just want like the world and obviously Rhode Island and everything just to see that like discrimination is real.
Sophia Ponarelli was born with a blood clot in her arm, making her an amputee at a young age. And she said her whole life she has rarely been made to feel different. But on Monday, the Rhode Island college student said that's exactly what happened at her usual place, Diva Nail Salon in Cranston.
So previous to this, they've told me like, oh, you can't stamp it today because like it's only for pedicures. I was in back of somebody and she was paying. She got her card stamped. And so I was like, oh, might as well see if I can stamp it. It's like taken back that they view me as a customer that frequently comes and then they do that to me. It's like it's just upsetting.
We want to reach out to and extend an olive branch and apologize for the misunderstanding and make everything better.
On Tuesday, I spoke with a representative for Diva Nail Salon, Michael Corselli Jr. Some people are saying this was an act of discrimination. You're here to say right now that this was a misunderstanding.
Total misunderstanding. We've been in business 10 years. This young woman has been coming for 7 years and never had a problem. This was just a new girl having total misunderstanding, an English barrier maybe.
But you can understand why her feelings are hurt.
Absolutely.
Ponarelli says she wants people to know they're never alone if they're ever in a situation just like this, and the world needs to be more kind. Olivia DeRocha, ABC 6 News.
New tonight on 11 at 11, a couple in Lowell appearing in court after police found a dead man in a freezer inside of their home. Right now, Samantha Perry and Michael Burke are not charged with the victim's death. They are, however, being charged with kidnapping. Court documents say they bound the man to a wooden chair using wire, rope, and duct tape. Authorities say Perry claims there's another person involved who attacked that man and strangled him.
It's the very beginning of what looks like a complex situation that arose here in Lowell. I don't know much more than all of you would know at this point in time. We're collecting a number of facts on that.
Burke and Perry pleaded not guilty to the kidnapping charges against them. Authorities say that victim was addicted to opioids and his family had reported him missing. All right, time now for checking the forecast. Hope Tracker meteorologist Kelly Bates joining us now live in the Weather Center. Kel, how are we looking for the drive into work tomorrow?
Oh, well, right now we're looking pretty darn warm. So you might want to leave yourself a little extra time to get where you're headed in case you happen to encounter any areas of reduced visibility. John?
All right, Kelly, thank you. Now to some interesting road safety information about southern New England. A new report by advocates for highway safety graded the effectiveness of safety laws in each state. While Massachusetts ranking among the worst for roadway safety as one of the 9 states in the country in the danger category, meaning the Commonwealth doesn't have enough safe driving laws. The report saying the state should look to enforce laws like nighttime driving restrictions, minimum supervised driving hours, as well as enforcement for wearing front and rear seatbelts.
We're not allowed to stop you for that violation alone, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, if it's a violation, if you don't have your seatbelt on and we stop you and it's a violation, it doesn't lessen the violation if you're just driving around with it off anyway. So that needs to be cleaned up by the legislature.
Now, you may be surprised to hear Rhode Island received a good rating, just one of 5 states to get that. Here's why it happened. Rhode Island has 10 of the 16 laws recommended by this group and has a high level of seatbelt law enforcement.
However, while Rhode Island has many of those road safety laws on the books, data looking at 10 million car insurance quotes shows Rhode Island has some of the worst drivers. A new report out by insurance website Quote Wizard examined insurance quotes and analyzed drivers in each state to determine the best and the worst. They looked at crashes, citations, and DUIs. Rhode Island ranks number 10 on the list for worst drivers. Massachusetts not too far behind, sitting at 19. Drivers in every other state in New England are listed in the top 10 best in the country.
Still to come tonight at 11, two companies connected to Donald Trump found guilty of tax fraud. How prosecutors say the former president was in on it.
Plus, another one on the list, the latest state to ban TikTok for government employees.
And Patriots tight end Hunter Henry spreading holiday cheer this evening to foster children in Rhode Island. You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source.